Life often puts us in situations where words fail to make an impact and actions become louder than any argument. In such moments, silence becomes a powerful tool, an unspoken declaration of strength and self-respect. Inspired by the timeless teachings of Stoicism, this video explores why going back, staying silent, and walking away from unnecessary conflicts can reshape how others perceive and value you. The Stoics, like Marcus Aurelius and Seneca, emphasized that silence is not weakness, it's wisdom. By stepping back and refusing to engage in trivial arguments or emotional battles, you demonstrate mastery over your own mind and emotions. Silence forces others to reflect on their actions and intentions. It creates space for introspection, allowing the dynamics of any relationship or situation to shift naturally in your favor. Have you ever noticed how people seem to regret their actions when you stop giving them attention? It's because silence is unsettling. It removes their ability to predict or control the situation. They begin to question themselves, and in doing so, they are drawn back to you, seeking the answers that your absence has created. In this video, we'll uncover the transformative power of silence. We'll explore how walking away from drama can elevate your self-worth, strengthen your mental resilience, and even inspire admiration from others. These lessons are deeply rooted in Stoic principles, teaching us that control over oneself is the ultimate form of power. If you're tired of chasing after people or feeling undervalued, this video is for you. Through silence, you reclaim your energy and send a message of dignity and strength. So, stay tuned as we dive into 8 actionable strategies that will show you how to let silence work for you, allowing others to seek your presence and respect your boundaries. Let's begin this journey of self-discovery and empowerment. Number 1. The power of silence in conflict. The power of silence in conflict lies not in what is absent, but in what it communicates and evokes. In moments of disagreement or confrontation, our natural tendency is often to respond quickly, driven by emotions like anger, frustration, or the desire to defend ourselves. However, the Stoic philosophy teaches that silence can be a far more powerful tool than words. By choosing silence, we demonstrate control over our thoughts and emotions, which can ultimately lead to better outcomes in conflict. Silence interrupts the cycle of reactive behavior. In conflict, both parties tend to escalate the situation by reacting impulsively, often resulting in misunderstandings and prolonged disputes. By remaining silent, we create a space for reflection and pause. This break in the pattern of communication allows for cooler heads to prevail, reducing the chances of further confrontation. The Stoic belief that we cannot control external events, but only our responses becomes evident here. By not reacting impulsively, we retain our composure and maintain control over ourselves, rather than being controlled by the intensity of the moment. Silence also compels introspection. When we stay silent, we give both ourselves and the other party time to reflect on their own words and actions. The Stoic ideal of self-mastery emphasizes the importance of internal reflection. In conflict, silence creates an environment where individuals must confront their own thoughts and emotions rather than focusing solely on external expressions of blame or frustration. This introspection allows us to process our responses thoughtfully, leading to wiser decisions rather than knee-jerk reactions. Moreover, silence signals strength and confidence. In many conflicts, people seek validation or the upper hand through words, attempting to assert dominance or superiority. However, silence can disrupt this dynamic by showing that one does not need to engage in the battle of words to assert their worth. The Stoics believed that true strength comes from within and not from external validation. By choosing silence, we demonstrate that we are not governed by external circumstances, but rather by our own sense of dignity and control. Additionally, silence often creates a space for the other party to reconsider their position. In moments of conflict, when one party remains silent, the other is left without the immediate validation or response they may expect. This absence of reaction can lead to discomfort and self-reflection. The Stoic practice of focusing on what is within our control, our thoughts, actions, and responses, helps others see the impact of their behavior and prompts them to re-evaluate their stance. Finally, silence fosters respect and understanding. In conflict, communication often breaks down as individuals become more focused on asserting their own viewpoints rather than truly listening. Silence forces both parties to listen more attentively, encouraging empathy and mutual understanding. By staying silent, we demonstrate patience and a willingness to engage with the other party's perspective, paving the way for more productive dialogue and conflict resolution. In conclusion, silence is not a form of weakness, but a powerful tool of self-mastery and control in conflict. The Stoic philosophy teaches that by choosing silence, we can disrupt the cycle of reactive behavior, foster introspection, and cultivate respect. In doing so, we enhance our ability to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively, leading to more peaceful and meaningful outcomes. Number 2. Why silence provokes curiosity. Silence has a unique ability to provoke curiosity, as it creates a sense of mystery and uncertainty. In a world dominated by constant noise and communication, silence stands out precisely because of its rarity. Human beings are naturally drawn to what is unfamiliar or unclear, and silence disrupts the expected flow of communication, leading people to wonder about its meaning. The absence of sound leaves gaps that our minds naturally seek to fill, driving curiosity and prompting deeper reflection. One reason silence provokes curiosity is that it creates a void, and human nature tends to fill voids with meaning. When we encounter silence, we are often uncertain about what is happening or what the other person might be thinking. This uncertainty triggers our innate desire to seek answers and understand what is going on beneath the surface. In conversations, for example, when someone remains quiet, others are likely to wonder why. Is the silence a sign of disinterest, discomfort, or something deeper? Our minds are conditioned to seek closure, and silence creates a space where unresolved questions linger, pushing us to seek clarity. In Stoic philosophy, silence is often associated with introspection and self-control. By remaining quiet, we demonstrate emotional restraint and control over our reactions. This deliberate silence can create a sense of authority and self-assurance, qualities that naturally draw attention. People are curious about those who appear composed and unshaken, as silence often suggests a sense of inner peace and confidence. When someone chooses to stay silent, others are prompted to reflect on what might be going on inside their minds, which piques curiosity and encourages deeper engagement. Silence also disrupts the usual patterns of communication, which typically involve verbal exchanges and the expectation of responses. When this pattern is broken, it leaves others unsure of what to expect next. In a world where constant interaction is the norm, silence feels unnatural and disruptive, leading people to question its significance. This disruption in communication acts as a form of control over how information is shared, and those who remain silent can become the center of attention as others strive to understand their motives and intentions. Moreover, silence can signal a form of mystery or depth. People are often drawn to those who seem enigmatic or who appear to possess wisdom or knowledge that they are not freely sharing. In relationships, whether personal or professional, silence can create an aura of intrigue, making others wonder about the thoughts and feelings of the silent person. The Stoic ideal of maintaining control over one's thoughts and emotions reinforces this concept, as silence becomes a reflection of one's self-mastery and detachment from the need for constant validation. In conclusion, silence provokes curiosity because it breaks the expected flow of communication, leaving gaps that invite speculation and reflection. Humans are naturally drawn to the unknown, seeking answers and meaning in what remains unsaid. In Stoicism, silence is viewed as a powerful tool that communicates self-control, confidence, and inner strength, further fueling the curiosity of others. When we remain silent, we not only demonstrate restraint, but also create an aura of mystery that compels others to explore what lies beneath. Number 3. Detachment as a Stoic tool. Detachment is a key concept in Stoic philosophy, emphasizing the importance of maintaining control over our desires, emotions, and attachments to external events. The Stoics, such as Epictetus and Seneca, believed that true freedom and inner peace come from our ability to detach from things beyond our control. In a world that often prioritizes material possessions, outcomes, and external validation, detachment serves as a powerful tool to cultivate mental resilience and maintain tranquility amidst life's inevitable uncertainties. At its core, detachment is not about disengaging from life or avoiding responsibilities. Rather, it is about maintaining a clear awareness of what we can and cannot control. The Stoics recognized that much of the suffering and anxiety we experience arises from our attachment to things that are outside of our influence, whether it be the opinions of others, material possessions, or outcomes that are beyond our control. By embracing detachment, we release ourselves from the constant need to seek validation, control, or certainty, thereby reducing the mental clutter that often clouds our peace of mind. One of the key principles of Stoic detachment is the understanding that external events are neither good nor bad in themselves, but that our judgments about them determine our emotional responses. For example, a setback or failure isn't inherently negative. It's our attachment to the desired outcome that makes it seem so. The Stoics taught that by letting go of these attachments, we can view challenges and difficulties more objectively. This doesn't mean we become indifferent or apathetic, but rather that we accept life as it unfolds, focusing instead on our own actions and responses, which are within our control. Detachment also fosters a deeper sense of self-awareness. When we let go of excessive concern for things beyond our control, we are left with a clearer understanding of who we are and what truly matters. The Stoics encouraged reflection on what is essential and what is superfluous. By practicing detachment, we prioritize values that are aligned with virtue, wisdom, and self-mastery. This means recognizing that our worth isn't determined by external circumstances, but by our character and our ability to respond with virtue, regardless of what happens around us. Furthermore, detachment allows us to face adversity with courage and equanimity. When we detach from our attachments, we reduce the emotional volatility that often arises in difficult situations. Whether it's the loss of a loved one, the failure of a project, or the rejection of our efforts, Stoic detachment teaches us to endure these experiences without excessive pain or resentment. Instead, we recognize that such events are part of life's natural order, and by accepting them, we remain calm and focused on what lies within our power to control: the effort, the attitude, and the responses that define our character. In practice, detachment doesn't mean cutting ourselves off from relationships or responsibilities. Rather, it involves approaching them with a mindset of acceptance and equanimity. The Stoics encouraged us to value things and people for what they are, rather than for what they might provide us. By cultivating this perspective, we reduce the anxiety associated with the fear of loss or the desire for gain. Instead, we embrace the present moment, recognizing that the only true source of control lies in our own thoughts, actions, and judgments. In conclusion, detachment is a Stoic tool that empowers us to navigate life with greater peace and clarity. By letting go of attachments to things beyond our control, we free ourselves from the mental burdens that often lead to suffering. Instead of chasing after things that are fleeting, the Stoics encourage us to focus on what lies within our sphere of influence, our thoughts, actions, and character. Through this practice of detachment, we cultivate the resilience, self-mastery, and tranquility that form the foundation of a Stoic life. Number 4. The art of patience. Let them come to you. The art of patience, letting others come to us rather than forcing outcomes, is a principle deeply rooted in Stoic philosophy. The Stoics, particularly thinkers like Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus, emphasized the importance of accepting what is beyond our control and focusing on what lies within our power. One of the core teachings in Stoicism is that striving to force situations or outcomes often leads to frustration, disappointment, and unnecessary suffering. Instead, the Stoics advocated for cultivating patience and allowing events to unfold naturally. In doing so, we gain clarity, inner peace, and greater control over our responses to life's challenges. Patience, in the Stoic sense, is not passivity or resignation, but a disciplined approach to life that acknowledges the natural order of things. The Stoics taught that we cannot control others, their actions, or the outcomes of events. What we can control, however, is how we respond to these external forces. By relinquishing the need to force outcomes, we allow ourselves to focus on what truly matters, our own thoughts, attitudes, and actions. Patience becomes a tool for self-mastery, helping us cultivate equanimity in the face of uncertainty. Letting others come to us requires an understanding that some things take time and that rushing or pushing for results often leads to greater frustration. The Stoics believed that individuals will act according to their own nature and timing. When we attempt to control or manipulate outcomes, we often exhaust ourselves and create unnecessary tension. By practicing patience, we trust that things will unfold as they should, whether it's the development of a relationship, the pursuit of a goal, or the resolution of a conflict. This mindset allows us to accept the natural pace of life, trusting that with persistence and virtue, things will align in due course. In interpersonal relationships, patience becomes especially valuable. The Stoics taught that trying to force someone to change or act according to our expectations leads only to resistance and disappointment. By embracing patience, we avoid the trap of trying to control others, allowing them the space to grow and change on their own terms. When we cultivate patience, we focus on our own actions and character rather than trying to manipulate external outcomes. This approach fosters respect and freedom, both for ourselves and for others. Moreover, patience teaches us to let go of attachment to outcomes. In a world that often glorifies immediate gratification and success, we are often tempted to seek quick results. However, the Stoics argued that true progress and growth come from persistence, effort, and a willingness to endure setbacks. By focusing on the process rather than the destination, we cultivate a sense of patience that allows us to accept failure, rejection, or slow progress without being consumed by frustration. The Stoic belief is that the journey itself builds character and wisdom, rather than the mere attainment of goals. Ultimately, the art of patience is a path to tranquility and inner peace. It reminds us that while we may strive to achieve goals or make positive changes, we cannot force the outcome. By accepting this reality, we free ourselves from the burden of constant control and expectation. Patience allows us to live in harmony with the natural flow of life, trusting that by acting with virtue, focus, and resilience, we will attract the outcomes we desire in their own time. In the Stoic view, patience is not about passivity, but about exercising control over our desires, remaining steadfast, and allowing things to unfold naturally, for this is the path to true wisdom and contentment. Number 5. Actions speak louder than words. The phrase, "actions speak louder than words," is a cornerstone of Stoic philosophy, emphasizing the importance of consistent behavior over mere verbal expressions. The Stoics, including thinkers like Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius, believed that it is our actions, rather than our words, that reveal the true nature of our character. They argued that while words can be easily spoken and may convey intentions or promises, it is our actions that ultimately define who we are and reflect our values. In the Stoic view, it is through our actions that we demonstrate integrity, virtue, and self-mastery. Marcus Aurelius, in his writings, frequently stressed the importance of aligning one's actions with their principles. He believed that true wisdom is not shown through rhetoric, but through consistent, virtuous behavior. For instance, a person may say they value honesty, but their actions, such as deceit or dishonesty, reveal their true values. In contrast, someone who may not speak much but consistently acts with integrity reflects their true character. The Stoics taught that what truly matters is not how we are perceived by others, but how we live according to our own principles. In daily life, this principle holds immense significance. Actions are a reflection of our values, intentions, and priorities. For example, someone may express love or concern for others through words, but if their actions contradict these sentiments by neglect, indifference, or mistreatment, those words lose their meaning. Conversely, a person who quietly acts with kindness, patience, and empathy demonstrates their virtues far more convincingly than someone who speaks of these virtues without practice. Actions provide tangible proof of our commitments, whereas words can easily be dismissed or forgotten. The Stoics believed that it is through disciplined action, rather than the mere appearance of virtue, that we achieve true freedom and self-mastery. They understood that it is easy to talk about ideals like courage, justice, or patience, but much harder to live by them consistently. In the face of adversity or temptation, our actions reveal what we truly value. For example, when faced with difficulty, a Stoic would act with calmness and reason, rather than reacting impulsively with fear or anger. These actions, not the words spoken in moments of ease, define their character. In modern life, this principle remains relevant. Social media, for instance, often emphasizes image and appearance, encouraging people to present an idealized version of themselves through words. However, it is often through their actions, how they treat others, the choices they make, and their responses to challenges, that their true character is revealed. The Stoics remind us that it is not enough to claim to live by high standards. We must demonstrate those standards through our consistent actions. Moreover, actions speak louder than words because they reflect our commitment to our values. When we align our actions with our beliefs, we build trust with ourselves and others. The Stoics understood that external praise or recognition is fleeting, but the alignment of our actions with our internal principles fosters lasting integrity. Ultimately, it is through consistent actions, rooted in self-control, virtue, and rationality, that we create a life of purpose and meaning. In the Stoic view, true strength lies in the consistency of our actions, not the transient nature of our words. Number 6. Regaining self-control through silence. Self-control is one of the fundamental principles of Stoic philosophy, and silence plays a crucial role in achieving and maintaining it. The Stoics, such as Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius, understood that silence is not merely the absence of words, but a powerful tool for fostering self-mastery. When we remain silent, especially in moments of tension or emotional disturbance, we create space for reflection, clarity, and discipline. In such moments, the practice of silence allows us to regain control over our thoughts, emotions, and responses, preventing impulsive reactions that often lead to regret or frustration. Silence, in the Stoic tradition, is more than just quietness. It is an active form of resistance against the temptation to react impulsively or emotionally. In the heat of conflict, for example, when emotions are heightened, the urge to speak out can be overwhelming. However, the Stoics taught that by choosing silence, we can break the cycle of emotional reactions and regain composure. Silence allows us to pause and reflect on our internal state, providing the clarity needed to respond rationally rather than react instinctively. In this way, silence becomes a form of self-control, preventing us from being governed by fleeting emotions such as anger, fear, or frustration. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most prominent Stoic philosophers, emphasized the importance of silence in maintaining self-mastery. He often reflected on how the mind should remain calm and unshaken, even in the face of adversity. In moments of agitation, Aurelius urged silence as a means of preserving one's peace of mind. By stepping away from the immediate desire to speak, we create the space necessary to reflect on what truly matters: our values, our principles, and our long-term goals. In silence, we assess our reactions and ensure that our actions are in line with reason and virtue, rather than impulsive and reactive. In addition to fostering self-control, silence also helps to reduce the external distractions that often contribute to the erosion of our composure. In a world that often thrives on noise, constant communication, and rapid responses, silence offers a sanctuary, a moment of stillness where we can reconnect with ourselves. In these quiet moments, we become attuned to our inner thoughts, free from the external clamor that seeks to dictate our actions. By stepping back and allowing silence to take precedence, we create the conditions necessary for self-reflection, enabling us to regain control over our minds and actions. Silence also helps cultivate a sense of humility and detachment. The Stoics believed that self-control arises from an understanding of what is within our power and what is not. By remaining silent, we acknowledge our limitations, recognizing that not everything needs to be expressed or acted upon. This recognition of boundaries allows us to focus on what we can control: our thoughts, our responses, and our behavior, rather than becoming consumed by external circumstances. In silence, we release the need for constant validation or the desire to assert ourselves, allowing us to act with wisdom and restraint. In conclusion, regaining self-control through silence is a central tenet of Stoic philosophy. By choosing silence in moments of emotional turbulence, we create the space needed for reflection and rational thought. Silence helps prevent impulsive reactions and encourages us to respond in ways that align with our values and virtues. In a world that often rewards noise and distraction, silence becomes a powerful tool for self-mastery, allowing us to reclaim control over our minds and actions, fostering greater peace, clarity, and resilience. Number 7. How silence triggers regret. Silence, while often viewed as a source of wisdom and reflection, can also lead to regret when it is accompanied by missed opportunities for expression or action. The Stoics understood the value of silence, particularly in moments of reflection or self-mastery, but they also acknowledged that silence can sometimes be a double-edged sword. When silence is chosen at the expense of speaking out when necessary, it can leave a person with lingering regret. This is because human beings are social creatures, wired to seek connection, clarity, and resolution. The Stoic philosophy teaches that while some silence is virtuous and necessary for self-control, silence that results from fear, insecurity, or a lack of courage can often lead to missed chances for growth or understanding. One of the ways silence triggers regret is when it prevents us from asserting our thoughts, feelings, or opinions in important situations. In conflict or moments of disagreement, silence may seem like the safer option, avoiding confrontation or the potential for judgment. However, the Stoics emphasize the importance of speaking truthfully and with courage, even when it is difficult. When we remain silent in the face of an opportunity to express ourselves, we may later look back and feel regret for not standing up, asserting our values, or clarifying our position. This kind of silence, rooted in fear or hesitation, deprives us of the opportunity to engage in meaningful dialogue or confront challenges constructively. Regret stemming from silence can also arise from missed opportunities for connection. Humans crave understanding and authenticity in relationships. When we fail to communicate openly with others, whether due to pride, fear of vulnerability, or avoidance, we may later reflect on these moments and feel a sense of lost connection. The Stoics emphasize that living in accordance with virtue means being honest and transparent in our interactions. Silence, when driven by a fear of vulnerability or a reluctance to express emotions, can leave us disconnected from others, contributing to feelings of loneliness or disconnection. The regret arises from recognizing that the silence may have shielded us from discomfort, but also from deeper, more meaningful connections. Moreover, silence can trigger regret when we fail to act in alignment with our values or principles. The Stoics taught that our actions, rooted in reason, virtue, and self-control, define our character. However, silence can sometimes reflect passivity or inaction when we should have taken a stand, acted decisively, or intervened in situations that required our attention. For instance, failing to speak up for justice, offer help when needed, or confront unethical behavior can leave us feeling regretful. The Stoics believed that wisdom lies not in silence itself, but in knowing when silence serves virtue and when it deprives us of our moral responsibility. In these cases, silence is not the path to tranquility, but rather a source of missed opportunities for meaningful contribution. In some instances, silence can also lead to regret due to the fear of being misunderstood or dismissed. Many people avoid expressing themselves for fear that their words will be misinterpreted or rejected. However, the Stoics taught that truth and clarity are more important than public approval. By remaining silent, we may avoid potential judgment or misunderstanding, but this silence can later be regretted when we realize that our silence may have led others to misunderstand our intentions or dismiss our values. Inaction in this sense becomes a missed opportunity to clarify, assert, and align with what is just and true. In conclusion, while silence is often embraced as a tool for self-control and wisdom, it can also lead to regret when it is driven by fear, insecurity, or a lack of courage. The Stoic perspective teaches that silence, when used to avoid discomfort, conflict, or vulnerability, can deprive us of opportunities for growth, connection, and self-expression. Regret arises from realizing that silence may have shielded us from discomfort, but it also may have deprived us of essential moments of clarity, connection, and contribution. Number 8. Living by the Stoic virtue of dignity. The Stoic virtue of dignity, or eudaimonia, represents a commitment to living a life of integrity, self-respect, and virtue, irrespective of external circumstances. The Stoics believed that dignity stems from aligning our actions with reason and virtue, regardless of what others think or the trials we face. Marcus Aurelius, a Stoic philosopher and Roman emperor, often reflected on the importance of dignity as a guiding principle. For the Stoics, dignity is not about seeking external validation or status, but about maintaining a sense of self-worth and integrity in the face of adversity. It is about living with a sense of honor, acting in accordance with reason, and maintaining composure, no matter the external pressures or challenges that arise. Living by the Stoic virtue of dignity means holding ourselves accountable to a set of principles that transcend fleeting desires for approval or material success. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, repeatedly emphasized that our true worth lies in our actions, not in external recognition or achievements. Dignity, in Stoic terms, is about knowing that our actions align with what is right and virtuous, even when others may misunderstand or criticize us. It's about maintaining respect for ourselves, even when facing hardship or adversity. In times of difficulty, the Stoics taught that we must not be swayed by the opinions of others or by external circumstances, but instead, we should act according to reason and virtue, ensuring our actions reflect who we truly are. The Stoic belief in dignity is closely tied to the concept of prohairesis, our faculty of rational choice. This principle asserts that we have control over our thoughts, judgments, and decisions, but we cannot control external events or the actions of others. Living with dignity, therefore, means focusing on what is within our power, our responses, our character, and our choices. By doing so, we retain self-respect and avoid the trap of living according to external expectations or desires. Dignity, in this sense, is about embracing responsibility for our own actions and refusing to compromise our values, even when faced with difficult circumstances. In practical terms, living with dignity requires embracing challenges with resilience and perseverance. The Stoics understood that life is filled with obstacles and adversity, but a dignified person responds with courage and virtue, rather than succumbing to fear or despair. For instance, in difficult times such as loss or failure, the Stoic would strive to maintain composure, accepting what is beyond their control and focusing instead on what remains within their power, such as their responses, their character, and their pursuit of virtue. By doing so, they uphold their dignity, demonstrating that their sense of self-worth is not diminished by external circumstances. Furthermore, dignity involves treating others with respect and maintaining integrity in all interactions. The Stoics taught that dignity is not merely self-centered, but extends to how we engage with the world. A person who lives by dignity will act justly, treat others with respect, and uphold their values in their relationships. Dignity is about maintaining a sense of honor and respect, not only for oneself, but also for others, ensuring that our actions reflect our commitment to virtue. In conclusion, living by the Stoic virtue of dignity is about maintaining self-respect and integrity in all circumstances. The Stoics, particularly Marcus Aurelius, emphasized that our true worth lies in our actions, not in external validation or achievements. By embracing responsibility for our choices and focusing on what is within our power, we uphold our dignity, demonstrating strength, composure, and virtue even in the face of adversity.